Hey everyone, it's Marcus here with the JVC training team, and today we have a super exciting video because we're talking about our brand new Marine and Motorsports waterproof amplifiers. So we're gonna dive in and take a look at what all these amps have in common, and then we'll get into the specifics of what each amp has to offer. All in all, these amplifiers are designed to go where most amplifiers wouldn't dare venture. Now, the most exciting features that all three of these amplifiers share is that they're IPX6667 rated. Now that means that they're completely waterproof from up to 3 meters of submersion up to 30 minutes. So you can take these amplifiers in places that you never thought possible before. That also means that they're dust and dirt resistant, so you won't have to worry about dust and contaminants getting inside the amplifier causing damage. The outer coating is a salt spray corrosion resistant coating, so that means it'll go in those environments that are too harsh for other amplifiers to withstand. When you look at the chassis of this amplifier, it's extra thick, and it also offers an elevated chassis to allow water to drain underneath the amplifier in case the floor is wet where the amplifier is mounted. One of the best features is the fact that we have thicker mounting feet. We know that the conditions may get rough and rugged off-road and offshore, so we wanted to make sure these amplifiers don't break off their mounts and end up dangling from their wiring harness. Now, moving to the inside of the amplifiers, we've taken the protection level even further. The first thing we did is get rid of the standard capacitors that can often come loose whenever you're off-road or in a rough environment. So we've replaced those with a polymer multi-layer capacitor that was actually used to measure seismic activity on the Mars rover. So you can say that there's actually space-age technology inside these Marine and Motorsport amplifiers. Each one of the amplifiers features a magnetic shielded output coil. Now this reduces noise inside the amplifier by 30%, giving you crystal clear sound from your amplifier. Now we've also protected the internals of the amplifiers by using extra thick heat transfer sheets between the body of the amplifier and the circuit board. This protects it from vibration and impact, keeping all the internal components from feeling that shock of the harsh off-road environments. So overall, the design and engineering of each one of these amplifiers is meant to give you the best performance, sound quality, and reliability in that harsh off-road motorsport and water sport environment. So let's take a look at the specifics of each one of these amplifiers and see how they can fit for your application. So let's skip the theatrics and go straight to unboxing the KS-DR2004D. Now that we've got the amplifier out of the box, let's talk about the specifications. Now this is a 4-channel amplifier that offers you configurations from 4-channel, 2-channel, and even a 3-channel mode. Now it provides you with 50 watts by 4 at 4 ohms RMS power and 75 watts by 4 at 2 ohms RMS power. So let's take a closer look inside the box and see what's included. First, you'll see here we have the manual for our amplifier. Second, you'll see here that we have our warranty card, and this amplifier includes a 2-year warranty. And third, you'll see that we have a package full of stainless steel screws used to mount the amplifier. And finally, we have our zip ties to help secure your wiring harness once you're done installing the amplifier. So taking a closer look at this amplifier, you'll notice that the wiring harness is connected to the body itself. That keeps everything watertight and prevents any dust and moisture from getting into the amplifier. If we take a look at the wiring harness here, we have our 10-gauge power lead with the included 40-amp fuse already wired in line on the amplifier. Then let's move to the ground connection, which is also a 10-gauge wire. And we have our remote power turn-on that gives a signal to the amplifier to turn on whenever the key or vehicle is running. And we can move on to our RCA connections. Here you'll see we have a front connection and a rear connection, followed up by our speaker leads that provide 4-speaker output. Now if we take a look at the side of the amplifier where the controls are, you'll notice that we have a metal cover. Now underneath that metal cover is also a silicone gasket, and it's all held in place with these 3 black anodized stainless steel screws. This prevents rust, but this panel also prevents any intrusion from dust or water. So this keeps the amplifier safe from the elements. And it's important to reinstall once you have the amplifier tuned and set up, or you're going to compromise the waterproofing abilities of this amplifier. Now that we have our panel removed, I can easily display the silicone seal that's on the back side of this panel. This is what keeps the water and dust out of the amplifier. It's also important to note that even the screws have their own silicone seal. This further enhances the protection level of this amplifier. And it's important to put these back in place when you're reassembling the amplifier. Now let's take a closer look at all the controls. Here on the amplifier, you'll notice that we have a 1 and 2 channel input sensitivity control and a 3 and 4 channel input sensitivity control. This allows us to adjust each one of those channels to get the best sound quality from our setup. You may actually use this in cases where you have a larger speaker in the front or a smaller speaker in the rear. That means that you can adjust these levels to give you equal sound from both speakers, even though they're different sizes. And another cool trick that this amplifier has is an input selection switch. So let's say your receiver that you're using only has a single RCA output. When you hook up to a 4-channel amplifier, you're going to have to wire a connector from that single RCA output into these 4 RCA inputs. Now that can create problems in the future. It introduces extra connections that can cause corrosion or loose connections and basically cause you some issues with the installation. So what we've done is added an input selection switch so you can switch between a 2-channel input or a 4-channel input. That means that you can use a receiver with a single RCA output and then switch it to your 2-channel mode and get 4 channels of control out of the amplifier, making it very convenient and easy to install on those very basic receiver setups. We also have separate adjustments for each channel's frequency controls. If you see here, anything highlighted in the HPF or high pass frequency range is going to be highlighted with a box around the number. Anything without the box is going to be your low pass frequency range controls. You can use the switches below here for both your 1 and 2 channel and your 3 and 4 channel to designate what EQ you want, or you can turn them completely off and have it pass through signal in full range. And over here, we have our output selection control. So using the output selection control, you can set this up as a 2-channel amplifier, 4-channel amplifier, or even a 3-channel amplifier. That means that you can use this in several system configurations. You can use anything from 4 speakers, 2 speakers and a subwoofer, or 2 tower speakers or something to that effect if needed. So you can use this in multiple configurations and dial in each one of those adjustments. So that concludes our unbox video for the new Marine Motorsports waterproof amplifiers. If you have a question about one of these amplifiers, please drop the question below in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching.
JVC,